Hey everyone, I'm Curtis,
And I'm Shank.
and you're listening to the Good Buds Podcast.
Let's shatter some nugs.
Welcome to the Good Buds Podcast, the show where good buds smoke good buds and talk about them. This is episode 13, airing Monday, November 9th, 2020, on Spotify, YouTube, Anchor, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and many more. Thanks for joining us.
This week's episode is brought to you by that slight ringing noise that you get in your ear every now and then that just appears and disappears for no friggin' reason. What the fuck is up with that anyway? Seriously, buddy. You weird. Link in the description. Anyway, on with the show.
Nice shout out, Shank. Don't forget their subsidiary company, iFloaties. What the fuck are those?
What the fuck are those?
More on that later. But, how are you doing today, Shank?
Oh man, I'm doing pretty good, just keeping things organized, having a good day. Kept quite busy with a few projects on the go, and just having a good time overall. How about yourself, brother?
Having a good one. Well, last night was a little unfortunate for me. A little
Oh yeah?
unlucky, if you would say.
Oh.
So I went to a restaurant, was sitting down, eating by myself, lonely, and I went to reach over for the salt shaker, and I accidentally knocked it over.
Oh,
So,
shoot, bad luck, man.
Oh yeah, and me being a superstitious person, I immediately grabbed the salt and throw it over my shoulder. Well, when I did that, the salt actually got into a waiter's eyes who was walking behind me. He fell over, threw an entire tray of food onto another customer. Yada yada, long story. I'm getting sued by two people now.
Oh, fuck, man, you're getting sued by both of them?
Yep, the waiter and the customer. I'm claiming that it was an accident, but both of them are claiming that it was assault. Anyway, be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you like what we're doing, check out our Patreon page. We have 6 tiers available, including bonus content and access to our Discord channel.
That's absolutely right. We would love if you would stop by and consider donating to the show. Now, let's get into the review.
Good Buds Review, Good Buds.
So, Curtis, what are you burning today?
I don't fucking know, Shank.
Yeah, man,
see-
neither do I, honestly.
You see, we decided that this was going to be a very somewhat special episode, being our 13th episode, airing the same week as Friday the 13th. We decided that we were going to do a mystery strains. So these are strains that we have procured through various means, rather, they've been given to us by friends or family or something like that.
Yeah.
And we've just lost the names or they were never told to us to begin with. So
What's yours like? Give us the best description you possibly can of this mystery weed, and maybe the audience can help us figure out what the fuck it is.
Exactly. If you guys can help us out, that would be appreciated. But the weed that I have for you today is grown somewhere in Florida or around the Florida area and was given to me by my uncle who lives down there. It is a tightly packed light green nug with these small dark green specks on it. It's about half covered in these fine tangerine colored hairs that kind of peek out throughout, but it just gives it a nice little half and half of green and orange. It has a small amount of crystal coating, but they're bigger crystals than you would normally see on nugs. Kind of like almost salt crystals, if you would.
Oh, like crystal
Like-
rocks, almost.
Right, as opposed to just that thin coating of crystals.
Neat.
In terms of the scent, it has a very earthy, woodsy scent to it. It's slightly more pungent once you break it open. Like, once you get in there, it's got this very nice citrus scent. The terpenes kind of come out a little bit more, but it's still got a nice, earthy, woodsy, almost umami scent to it. Kind of comes out throughout. I don't know if it's weak on the scent because of how long it took to get to me. Obviously, shipping and stuff. I'm in Michigan. He's in Florida. But I don't know. We will find out how it tastes in a little bit. But that is some weed.
Yeah, that is some weed. Yeah.
So
man,
Shank,
that
what is
sounds good.
the weed that you have to describe for us today.
Well, the weed I've got this mystery strain. I mean, I don't know if it's as good as the Florida Man stuff you've got, but
Florida Man.
hopefully it's good. It's this beautiful, tight forest green nugs with little hints of emerald peeking out every now and then. Honestly, it's got the thickest coating of red hair I've seen in a little while. It covers the entire outside like an overgrown forest, almost like Wookiee fur. And like it's just covered from tip to tip of every nug of this has this sheen of crystal over the entire top. It's almost like a jungle that's coated in frost, which is like just a really weird juxtaposition, but it looks great.
Sounds like a Minecraft biome.
Oh, I know, right? It's totally. We'll call this one Minecraft and yours Florida Man until we know what they actually are. But so as for the smell of this stuff, though, man, it has a very sweet, musky punch. It almost has that kind of kush smell, like that oily, kind of gassy diesel smell, but very subtle. It has really tart berry hints, like blueberry specifically, not just a general berry smell or berry hint, but blueberry smell in the front with a herbal and peppery tone just kind of sitting in the background. Overall, the smell is clean, like super, super clean. It would honestly make a really friggin' good air freshener. Like just
Ooh,
it would make an. I would love to have my entire room smell like this weed.
like a Glade incense
Yeah, like a Glade
or
incense
one of
or
those. Yeah.
Scentsy things. Yeah, those Scentsy oil burning, wax burning thingies. Like one of those. And by the way, not hashtag not sponsored. But if either of you guys want to sponsor us and give us some cannabis scented, plugins or whatever, we will totally take that sponsorship.
I mean, screw
Any
that.
day.
If they even just want to make them in the first place, that'd be nice.
Yeah, any day of the week. Any day of the week,
Absolutely.
we will plug the shit out of those, even if you don't sponsor us. But
Sure.
I think obviously these both sound like they smell delicious. They both look awesome. I know I have a bong packed here, and
Well,
you
before
know,
we get to that, obviously, if you're watching the YouTube video, then you can see the pictures of the nugs come on screen as we talk about them.
big
But
truth.
if you're watching one of our audio podcasts, you can either check out YouTube or you can check out our Instagram where we post all of the pictures of these nugs plus some behind the scenes photos.
Oh yeah, and you can also check out our Reddit page as well that we recently started, the Good Bud Sub on Reddit.com. You can go there and check it out, and post your pictures of your nugs or check out some pictures of ours.
Exactly. Let us know
Yeah.
what we should be smoking.
Hell yeah.
But
Yeah, let us know.
as you were
Tell us
saying,
what to do.
Shank,
Yeah. No, it sounds great, man. So let's try them out, I think, eh?
for show, for show. I got my bong, you got yours.
Yes, sir.
Ledger's out, bro.
Later's up.
Let's blaze it, bro.
Ooh. Oh. Hmm. So, Curtis, how's yours tasting, brother?
Mm.
Wow.
It is a very, very smooth yet pungent hit. It felt clean and well rounded. Like, I don't have any ice in my ice catcher, and I did just clean my bong, but still, the flavor, super smooth, super clean, well rounded, as in it filled my mouth, it went to my lungs, it went to my brain. It just felt like it spread throughout my body really nicely. The flavor is a large. Okay, this is where it's going to sound weird. It tastes like a mixture between fuel and sanitizer, but it didn't really taste like it. It tastes like the scent of it. Like walking into a freshly cleaned hospital that has that nice chlorine bleach, just got cleaned. It tastes like that scent. Or walking into a pool that just got, a fresh load of chlorine and the pH balance is just right. That nice equal amount of cleanliness, but it has a slight earthy tone to the end of it towards the back taste, and it's just a very calming aftertaste that settles you in really nicely after that.
Nice.
It's pretty
Nice.
good, pretty good.
Sounds like a nice
How about
hit.
you? How's it tasting for you?
Well, this Minecraft biome here is fucking smooth and sweet, just like a Minecraft biome. It's got a really heavy blueberry taste, though. That blueberry smell that was there before overpowers pretty much everything now. Coming right to the forefront. It's got these really nice citrus hints in the background, and like a little bit of a harsh inhale, like when you're taking it in, but the exhale's really clean. I didn't even notice that diesel-y kind of cushy scent in the smoke at all. So if there is any kind of like cushion there, it's probably lighter on it. But
Right.
it caused a little bit of dry mouth there. Luckily, as we always say in pretty much every episode, prepared stoner always has beverages on the standby.
Snacks and
Um,
bevs.
Snacks and bevs. So I mean, it's fantastic flavor. I really, really enjoy it, and I'm definitely looking forward to trying more. Yeah, so obviously there's no online reviews for these, so like we're gonna have
Right.
to do something different this episode, right? I mean,
Right. Obviously, we don't have the reviews because we don't know what strains they are exactly. So we're gonna
no
wait
clue.
until later on in the episode, and we will let you know how it's affected us, and we'll give you our opinions.
Opinions.
Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic, man. Honestly though, I do really look forward to smoking. Do you have a joint there?
Uh, I don't have the. Oh, hi, Mr. Kitty.
Oh, kitty!
Hi.
Hey, kitty!
Oh, he brought our
Hey,
joints. Nice,
what a good cat,
dude. You trained your cat really nicely,
dude. That's not my cat.
but it's not my cat.
Whose fucking cat was that?
Uh,
Anyway, thanks, cat. You the
Thank
man,
you.
or a girl, or boy. I don't know, but thank you, cat. I'm not going to assume your gender. Awesome. So yeah, I've got my joint now. You've got
I
your
got my
joint now,
joint.
and yeah, let's go ahead and light them up, eh?
Let him out. Tokes boat. 420 somewhere.
Whoop.
Blaze it, bros.
Mmm. Oh, that tastes nice. I like that. I like that.
Mhm.
Yup.
Mm.
Yup. How's yours tasting? What you burning out of today?
Tasting pretty good. Tasting pretty smooth. It doesn't exactly. I mean, it's good for a joint, but I prefer it more in a bong personally.
Yeah.
But in terms of paper, I'm making you super jelly today. I am smoking the paper of your people.
Oh my God! Hold on. Let me. Okay. How many guesses do I get?
None. It's Juicy J, maple syrup flavored.
Dude, yes. Yes. The only thing that could be more Canadian is moose flavored papers.
Possibly, but this does have red Canadian maple leaves all over it
That's
with a
beautiful,
white
man. It's
paper.
oh cannabis, we stand on God for weed. That's amazing, man. Fucking, I'm proud of you for burning out of
True
that today.
cannabis love, and we all grow the seeds.
Oh man, well, okay, guys, coming in the future, a full length parody of the Canadian national anthem featuring me and Curtis.
Followed shortly by a rendition of the American national anthem.
And the bongs that we blaze, every day we get hazed. In the morning we saw the ashtray had been raised. They took all the
Anywho.
roaches. Anyway, sorry. But no, yeah, that'd be fucking awesome, man. Like that'd be great. But I'm proud of you for that. I'm actually burning it as something different today. I have some
What you got?
raw classic organic papers.
Ooh,
Ooh,
I have a
yeah,
couple
buddy.
of those, and I love them.
I
Love
like
the
raw.
raws.
I've always like raw. Raw and Element have always been like ones that I like to go to for like if I'm gonna buy like a more well known name brand kind of paper. Like I mean OCB, for as old as they are, they're not like one of those brands that people are like,
Right.
oh OCB papers. Like Vogue.
I think the
is more
smoke
popular
shop
names.
next to me just started selling like alternate versions of them because I think
Yeah.
before you could only get the single wide, and now they have like the double, the fucking
1 1/4s.
1 1/4s, the
Kings.
super long ones.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because that's what I use. I use 1 1/4s, pretty much always. Just I prefer them. I find that when you're hand rolling with 1 1/4, you get a more substantial joint out of it, and it's a lot easier to roll cones because of the size and shape of the joint. At least a satisfying cone, in my opinion. But
Well, usually in those cases, I usually use two papers to make a slightly bigger cone, but that's just the way I was taught. So that's why
oh
I
yeah,
have no
no,
problem
yeah.
with like the single wides.
Do you roll the
'Cause
old
I just
the old
stick a
school
buck-
L's? Like the old school
Uh,
L's, like where you take the paper and you
not-
like kind of stick it at like an L, like a kind of
Not an L. It's more or less like a square with an overlapping corner on it.
Oh, I
like
dig. I dig.
the rectangles
Yeah.
overlap, but they're all both long ways. And
Yeah.
essentially, the way I roll it, it makes a pre-rolled cone, and
Yeah.
then I just fill it full of weed, twist the end, lick it the rest of the way, twist the end more, and then I have a perfect cone.
Yeah, I dig it, man. See, like, the only thing I miss about my younger days, my more creative days, when it comes to weed smoking and everything, is that I used to be more adventurous with my joints that I rolled.
Oh yeah.
Like, for example, my favorite, I'm sure you've heard of it before, but the Dutch tulip,
Oh yeah.
that was my favorite type of joint to roll. I rolled them impeccably. Like, would make the bulb would burn perfectly, it would light the joint perfectly, it would burn all the way through in one smooth, consistent burn. And I was
It is a
like, the first couple sucked, but like once I
oh yeah.
learned it and I got the technique down, I loved those things. But
The
like,
same thing with me was for cross joints,
oh,
but we'll
dude,
get into
cross
that in a
joints,
second.
yeah. Like, oh, yeah, we'll talk about cross joints too because I got a great cross joint story as well that I want to share after you share yours. But yeah, like these bulb joints, I used to roll them, and I'd use like 3 grams, like to roll these joints, and the bulb would have like usually like 1.5 grams in it, and the joint itself would have 1.5. And like I would basically just like make the bulb, make the joint, roll it all together, and like these things were magnificent, but they like it's like how I used to do my hair. I used to actually like have mohawks and spike my hair and stuff like that when I was younger in my punk days. And it would take me like 40 fucking minutes to do my hair, which is totally not punk, by the way. Like anybody out there who's sitting in the bathroom for 40 fucking minutes making sure your hair is perfect, that is like the least punk thing. But anyway, I digress. I like it would take so long to roll these joints that yeah, like when you went to a party and you brought like 3 of them with you, and people like you busted them out and people were like, "What the fuck? Yeah! Like holy shit, that's so cool!" Like it was neat and it was cool for the novelty, but I don't really do social shit anymore. And with COVID going on, like rolling fancy joints like for the sake of rolling them just seems kind of dumb. So I just
Right.
roll a nice cone, just something that I can just burn and just smoke and efficiency, man. It's all about efficiency and
Oh
like
yeah.
moderation too, because I'm not gonna be burning 3 grams per joint anymore. Like that's just dumb. That was like a dumb thing to do when I was younger, and I had like
Right.
I
At
thought
that
I had a
point, roll
yeah.
everybody a 1 gram joint and just be like, there you go.
I
Now
know.
everybody gets high. No
Straight
fucking
up,
waste.
yeah. No, exactly.
Or you
Or
fucking
even better,
charge them for it.
roll 6 half-gram joints, you know? Like you'd roll 6 half-gram joints and burn those half-gram joints like one after another and they'd last you for like a long time, even longer than the fucking tulip would, right? You only smoke one when you need
And
one.
let's say you fuck up the tulip or somebody fucks it up and then that whole bulb of weed just fucking falls out. That's a
Exactly, and that
fucking
has happened.
waste.
The first couple times, like I said, the first few times I fucked it up. That's how I fucked up. Is like I didn't do the seal properly on the between the bulb and the joint, and I like didn't know the proper way to do it, and
Right.
so I fucked it up. And when I fucked it up, it like fell off. Just like got part way burned through, and then it just fell off, and I ended up taking the rest of it and stuffing it in my fucking bong bowl and burning it in my bong. But like it was if you were outside and that happened, man, like that would suck. That's gone. That weed that's gone. Nature owns it again,
Oh
you know?
yeah.
So it was
Especially
like
nighttime at a party,
yeah.
snowing,
Yeah,
anything
or a
like that.
festival or
That's
something,
gone.
because most of the time, like, you'd roll, like, fancy
Yeah.
joints for festivals, and that's where my cross joint story
No,
comes
I
in,
get
so I'm not
that.
going to tell that yet. But what is your cross joint tale that you want to share? Because I'd love to hear about it.
Well, back in the day, fucking, this was when me and my friends were just starting to smoke weed like regularly, and uh, the bongs and stuff were left at home, so a lot of the bowls that were brought with us were either cheap metal ones that we could throw, ditch, buy a new one for fucking
Mm.
$4,
Those
no
screw together
problem.
yeah, those screw together ones?
Exactly.
Yeah,
So we had
everybody owned one
those.
of those.
We had papers. We had blunts, and or you had like a pop can if you really were desperate and didn't have anything else.
We're all going to get
So
Alzheimer's when we get older because we've all smoked out of pop cans.
of course, but the
Yeah, we're all going to
the
get
better
Alzheimer's when we get older because we all smoked out of pop cans.
fuck up. So anyway,
Go ahead, brother.
fucking the better or the people in our group who really like smoking weed obviously always had the papers with them. They learned how to roll the joints. I was one
Yeah.
of those people, so I learned basic straight pinners, basic cones, stuff like that. And eventually we get to a party and someone's like, dude, I saw this thing online of a cross joint. And nobody here could do that properly. And he's like, starts trying it and he fucks up so many times.
I
Finally,
can
he's
just
like,
see you
nobody
in
else could do it. And I'm
Knowing
like,
you as well as I can do, I just see you sitting there like anime face, like that intense anime face that the main character makes
I've
when a
never.
challenge is like
No,
comes up
that
and
was
he's
the
like
thing.
challenge
I've
accepted.
never done it. I've never done it before, so I'm kind of like, can this guy actually do it? And he's like, fuck, I can't do it. So I'm like, here, let me try. So I pull out my papers. I fucking get to the rolling tray, pull his shredded paper out. I roll two perfect joints, break just the perfect hole inside of it, slip the two together, take two more pieces of paper, rip off the glue strips, make the cross section so they're all sealed tightly together, and I'm just like, uh, I
Ta-da.
just did it.
Yeah, ta-da.
And then we all lit it, and it burned perfectly, and all three ends surprisingly met at the same time.
Isn't that the most beautiful
So
thing about a cross joint? Like, oh, that's awesome.
I made the
man.
cross ones long enough but thin enough where
Mhm.
they would burn, and the top half of the joint where it was supposed to burn first burnt
Yeah,
was
well,
like
you knew the trick,
thick
man.
and
You knew the
thin.
trick.
So
Like, and that's the
it
thing. Is
was
a lot
just
of people don't know that
guesstimated
trick.
as intuition at that point because
Like,
it was
yeah,
the
the
first
center
time
one-
I'd ever done one.
The center one, like you have to make it. The reason why it's called a cross joint is because you have to make it like an actual cross. Like the parts on the top, the top part and the two side parts need to be roughly the same length and thickness, so that when they burn down, they meet at the same point, right? Like, so if you make the
Right.
top part too long, then it'll burn down, and the side parts will get to the middle before the top part burns all the way down. But if
Right.
you make
It's
the
a
side ones
combination
too
of
long, then
either
the middle
making
one
them
will,
all
yeah.
right. You either have to make them all the same size, or you have to compensate by making the ones that are longer thinner and making the ones that are shorter fatter.
Exactly, and yeah, and that's
Somehow
awesome,
the
man.
first time I got it,
You just
and
nailed it.
I rolled five more since then, only fucking up one of them, and I was surprised that I was able to pick that one up and keep it going.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
well, no, that's
I
great, and like,
successfully say I can roll cross joints.
like yeah, man, and cross joints were one of the like because the Dutch tulips were my favorite, right? But I also I also used to do cross joints like and stuff, and I had a different technique than you had. The first time I rolled one, which is a different like an alternative technique, which basically you use a pair of scissors, you roll two straight joints,
Right.
one slightly longer than the other, and then you use a pair of scissors to snip a like V shape, almost like how they used to cut Subway
Yeah.
subs. Don't think about pedophilia, and so like how that V that they like that you cut a V in each of them and then notch them together, and then do the same thing you did, like take the stickies from other papers and just wrap them around it, almost like when you see like an actual cross, like on a like how the rope is
Right.
tying it together or whatever in the middle there. And yeah, you just wrap it around like that, and it seals it all up. And because the joints are open in the middle to each other, they're open at that hole. When you light it, they just burn nice and evenly. And that's like one technique that I used. But I've tried the one that you did, where it's with the hole and going with that, and it worked. But I always had better luck with the other method. But they're both perfectly awesome methods.
Right.
If your joint burns well, like
It works.
good fucking job. Like there's an old saying, if it's stupid and it works, it ain't stupid. And so however you manage to roll your fancy ass joints, like I've seen some on Reddit where people make like full statues out of weed using
I've
papers.
seen and attempted once to make a braided joint, a three-joint braided joint, and
I've made one and it burnt like hot garbage. It like flayed apart. It flayed apart after because I had three
as soon as
sticky
you light
bridges.
it fucking
Yeah.
unfolds itself.
Yeah, I had
It's so
three sticky
inefficient.
bridges. I had so I had a sticky at the top,
But-
sticky in the middle, and sticky at the bottom. And when it burnt past the first one, it just blew apart. It was terrible. But yeah,
Exactly.
but with the cross joints, going back to those, my favorite fucking cross joint story ever is one time I was going to a party, and basically I had these papers because I had got this rolling machine that was an antique rolling machine, and it was about the size of a typewriter. Like this thing was fucking huge, and it weighed like 10 pounds. Like it was legit one of those like desk ones that you put on a desk and it never leaves the desk. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And so I had one of those, and the cool thing is it rolled all at once. It was a cigarette roller, but it would roll 1 foot long joint or 1 foot long cigarette. So it had foot long papers that you would put into the machine, and all at once it would roll a cigarette that would be 1 foot long, and it had a spot on there that you would use a razor blade to cut it. Because you had to, this was from back in the day. It was an antique from back in the day when there
Right,
were no
you
filters.
make it a foot long and then you
Yeah,
cut
you
them
roll it
to
a
the
foot long
proper
and then you
size.
cut that into the proper length for your cigarettes to fit in your package or whatever, right?
Right.
And so, obviously, I was like, I'm repurposing this for weed. I would be a fucking idiot if I didn't. Duh, right? So it came with this package of. Now, this is probably terrible, and I more than likely gave myself some kind of weird, like, fucking, like, old timey poisoning for this. But it came with papers. Like,
Lead
I don't
lice
know.
probably, but
I don't. Yeah, maybe. Me no think it bad problem big time. But so like basically, yeah, it came with these papers that I don't know if they were
you're gonna
original or
get
not.
Alzheimer's from smoking out of cans.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Alzheimer's from smoking out of cans, I think. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that or not, but I'm definitely gonna get Alzheimer's from
Anyway.
smoking out of cans. But anyway, so I used this machine to roll a joint, right? A foot-long joint. And I took that foot-long joint and I set it to the side. And I used it to roll another one, the exact same size and dimensions. And then I cut the second one in half, and I put a filter in one side of it, and I immediately lit it. And with the other half, I did that notch technique. I cut a V,
And you made
and I made a foot long by 6 inches wide, so foot tall by 6 inches wide, cross joint. And so I was like, I am bringing this to the party. Like, holding it up above my head triumphantly as if I'm an RPG character who just completed a quest and got the fucking sickest loot. And my roommate's like, how we gonna get it there? And I was like, I didn't think of that. Because we were walking, and I can't verify you. This was before legalization. I mean, I never smoked
Please
cannabis
tell me
before
you dressed up
legalization.
as Jesus and walked through the street while your friend dressed as a fucking Roman poking you with a spear.
That was idea number one.
Good.
Number one. Unfortunately, it fell apart because I couldn't find my robe. I couldn't find my crown of thorns. I could only find this little sparkly tiara.
Anyway.
And I didn't have any sandals. So I just, without the sandals, you can't fucking do it. Because, I mean, there's only so much immersion breaking you can get.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You can't break immersion
have the
that much.
sandals, definitely.
I didn't have the sandals, couldn't do it, right? So,
Right.
so anyway, I was like, so I grabbed a pizza box because I remembered I had bought a 12-inch pizza. And I opened it.
It works.
And I was like, plunk. And I literally just dropped the joint and it fit like perfectly.
Corner
to corner, perfectly. Like it wouldn't wiggle, like it wouldn't shake, like I could move it around and it was in there. And I was like, that's amazing. So I rolled like a couple tulips and I put them in there too. And then I put a pipe and I put another little baggie of weed and I closed it and just like closed the box, like shut it. And it looked like I was holding a pizza. And I was like, all right, let's go. So me and my roommate left and we walked across town and I was just carrying a pizza. And cops drove by and they just kept going because I'm just a dude carrying a pizza. And if they had stopped, I would have been like, what are you doing? I would have been like, going to a party. I'd be like, oh,
got some pizza.
Yeah, they'd be like, you got some pizza there? I'd be like, yep, for the party. And they'd be like, all right, cool, have a good night. And I'd be like, you too. And then they'd drive away. They didn't, though. No, we didn't see any cops on the way there or anything like that. So we walked there and we get to the party. And my friend was like, oh, you brought pizza. I was like, no, I'm sorry to disappoint you. And I like opened it up and they were like, oh my God, what the fuck? Like they were like, not disappointed at all. And I was like, damn right. So fucking, we waited for a little bit. We played some music and shit like that. And when we lit that thing, man, it burned for way longer than it should have. And I'm not a religious man. I'm not by any stretch. Like, I mean, but I'm a universe kind of guy. I believe in like string theory over anything else. But like, but regardless of that, like that miracle of like the whole like bread lasting for like 40 fucking weeks when it was supposed to be like one little day's worth of bread. It was like a situation like that. That joint seemed to burn for fucking ever. And I don't know whether it was just because we were so stoned by the end of it that time was like dilated for us, or that it really burnt for that long, but it was like some kind of weird Christmas miracle in the summertime.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And this was all before legalization?
This was before legalization. And obviously I can't recommend doing anything illegal. Luckily statute of limitations is passed for me, so I'm all right for it. But still, it's one of those things where when you're doing things, I never did anything that was dangerous or stupid when I was high on marijuana. I never went around town fucking with shit. I would go to my friend's house, play music, smoke
Right.
weed. So it was good. And
Exactly.
that's what you guys should do too. Just smoke weed and chill, listening to our podcast on
Exactly.
Anchor,
It's
Spotify, Google Podcasts, and all the other ones.
right. Now, even though it was illegal then, it is legal now. Now, that does remind me, there are a couple
yes.
new states that can join that roster.
So
I
you
think it's time for some weed news worldwide election results. So, our first bit of news today is, of course, the results of the 2020 Electoral Ballot for marijuana legalization in the states.
Yeah, boy.
Congratulations to all the states that were up for legalization. That includes New Jersey, Arizona, Montana, South Dakota, Mississippi, for all approving legalizing marijuana for your respective states.
Proud of you,
That's New
buds.
Jersey. Proud of you all for New Jersey, Arizona, and Montana. That is now legal adult use for adults over the age of 21. For Mississippi, it is now legal medicinal marijuana. And congratulations on voting 65 and not 65A. You guys averted that little loop. Proud of you. Good
Smart.
job.
Smart people. We told you about that.
Exactly. Congratulations to South Dakota for getting both medical use and adult use marijuana legalized at the same time. Very nice. Also, a little shout out to Oregon and Washington, D.C., who were both able to get medically legalized psilocybin treatment ready. So, magic
There we
mushrooms, LSD, stuff like that. Natural.
I've seen some interesting results for PTSD with that and stuff, so that's really going to be cool to see in the future.
Exactly. So, congratulations to everyone who made it out and voted for 2020. Marijuana legalization is good on these states, and hopefully more states will come soon. Oh,
Damn right.
Also, some guy got voted president. Cool. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I heard about that. There's some dude gonna be the president now. Cool.
Whatever.
But weed legalization, we are so
yeah.
proud of you guys for getting out and voting for that. It was awesome. The turnout was great for voting this year. I believe more people voted than any other presidential election in history, which is amazing. And a lot of you guys voted for weed legalization, and we're very proud of you for that.
74% turnout for yes in one of the states. I can't exactly remember right now.
Straight up.
Sorry, I'm high.
Like, you guys are awesome. You guys are fantastic.
You got any other stories that are not election results?
Well, that's
you guys
the
got
thing.
anything that's not policy? Because there was a lot of policy news.
My goodness. Okay, we had to troll for some news stories this week, but luckily there are some really, really interesting stories from around the world.
And I think always, a lot of them have a lot less luck than all these states who just got pot legalized.
Absolutely.
Remember, this is the unlucky episode.
Absolutely. These people featured in these news stories are absolutely not as lucky as those people in those states are about to be as soon as those laws are in effect and fully take form. And once those states are going to be a lot more lucky than these folks are. The first story that I've got is from Australia. So any of our listeners are now listening to this a day early, so they could warn you about this from the future. But
all of our men down under who are growing weed upside down.
Yeah, our under down under buds. But this one's from Australia, and they found and seized a huge grow op with 1,845 cannabis plants. And one thing I gotta say right off the get-go is I love how specific they are with their numbers in most of these things. Like, they tell you exactly what they
fucking
stole.
Count.
Like,
so
they tell you,
if they count, they're gonna give people the number.
Yeah, they tell you.
We took 20 minutes to count all those plants.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, they straight up, they tell you exactly what they took, right? And by the way, free homie lawn tractor. I have not heard from him since he went to prison. I contacted his lawyer, and his lawyer hadn't even heard from him. So, free homie lawn tractor, man. Fucking arrested for no reason.
We've been keeping up on that fucking page, and they still have not said that they're releasing that lawn tractor.
I know. That lawn tractor.
If they put it up for sale on a whatchamacallit, one of those police auctions, we're trying to bid for it. We are going to get that lawn tractor back.
I am going to save that lawn tractor and let it live a beautiful life on a pasture and just relax, and it's going to have a nice retirement. I'm telling you, that lawn tractor didn't deserve to go to jail.
Lawn tractor deserves better.
I know. And now in this story in Australia here, that's very new, They didn't make any mention of lawn tractors, but they did take $5.2 million. That's Canadian worth of it's 5.5 million Australian worth of weed from New South Wales. They believe that it is related to Vietnamese crime gangs.
Oh, Chimama.
Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. But apparently, they think the wealthy Vietnamese gangs are buying land from drought farmers, like farmers that are like suffering from drought or fires. They're
Right.
like buying the land from them, like basically being like, "Hey, your land is on fire. We'll buy it from you right now for like dirt cheap." And the farmer's like, "Well, I guess so, because I can't do anything with it." So they sell their land, and then they come in and they build drug facilities there. And
Damn.
yeah, so they import illegal workers to grow cannabis crops, and they had a crime scene warrant to go in, check it out, and they seized 1,845 plants, like I said, worth 5.5 Australian million dollars. And it took like from November 2019 from the investigation to figure out exactly where the supply chain was coming from, because they knew the weed was coming in from a fairly local area, but they didn't know
Right.
exactly where. But they arrested two dudes. One of them was 22, one of them was 29. Both of them were unlucky for being there. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, they got arrested.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they got arrested and charged with the bust. They face charges of cultivating a prohibited plant because Australia it's still illegal. A large commercial quantity, which is even worse. Participating in a criminal group contributing to criminal activities, so being in a gang, and they both were refused bail because obviously they were a huge flight risk. If they were allowed bail, they could very easily use illegal channels to flee back to Vietnam and never be seen again.
Right.
So this isn't the first time that the New South Wales police found one of these, because just last week there was another seizure, and that was 13,353 plants grown on three
Wow.
separate properties. And they had an estimated value of $40 million, which is substantially lower because it wasn't matured yet. But the police
Right.
believe is the largest scale, grab in history. Like it's the most for them at least, the largest like scale collection of cannabis they've ever gotten all at
Right.
once.
Having to go to 3 different properties to get all this
Exactly,
marijuana
but it was all
shit.
part of one operation though, like getting these three places. So it's like it's
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's insane. Like they seized a massive amount of cannabis from these very unlucky Vietnamese gangsters that just happened to fucking be there that day, and so they were refused bail,
Grow
and
it
they're
in their
probably
own. I mean, I don't want to be
yeah.
that guy, but grow it
Grow
in
in
your own
Vietnam,
country.
man. I mean, Vietnam's
You have a
actually a great
lot
country
of.
for growing weed.
It's a great country for growing anything. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why we had so much trouble in the war. You guys kept hiding on us. I mean, just grow pot
Plants
plants.
everywhere.
Fuck it.
There's plants everywhere. But yeah, no, like, and so yeah,
Uh,
so basically, it is one of those things where like they got busted, they're in jail, illegal operation shut down. Australia legalized cannabis so that these people, gangsters, I mean, coming in and buying up land in your country and doing illegal operations like this will stop happening because legal farmers will be able to do it. You know? Like your
right.
citizens can grow the weed and then sell it to your citizens, and it will be legal. And
Well,
there won't be
hopefully they
gangs.
follow suit with New Zealand, who hopefully is legalizing soon.
Yes,
But
yes,
I
we
haven't
gotta,
checked up on them
yeah.
recently. But
Um,
we'll let you know for next week how they're doing.
we'll check into that and we'll give you an update on that next week. But
Exactly.
Curtis,
But right
do you
now,
have anything else
I
that's
do.
interesting going on?
So, speaking of my Florida weed, I now
Yeah.
have a story about Florida woman.
Oh, you got Florida man and Florida woman. Nice couple.
Exactly. So, a Florida woman who drove her SUV in a bike lane for a quarter mile fesses up. There's a sack of weed between her panties and her pants.
Oh my god, man.
So, apparently, a 33-year-old woman in Ocala, Florida, who was
Yeah.
caught with a bunch of bud in her panties after being pulled over by police for driving several hundred meters in a bike lane and then veered right, hitting the curb. Uh, a corporal with the Myron County Sheriff's Office tracked the slow-moving black SUV as it veered across lanes on traffic of traffic before traveling in the bike lane, notes of police reports. Uh, the SUV continued for an estimated quarter of a mile, apparently not noticing that the officers had activated the vehicle's emergency lights. The siren was going off. SUV turned into a local road and pulled onto the shoulder. When asked
Oh
what
my
was
god.
going on, she was said, very slow and very sluggish to respond, appeared to be in a daze, according to the officer. She couldn't find her license when she was asked to produce it, but she was able to produce her or provide her license number and offer that her vehicle alignment was off, air quotes. Um,
Oh my
she also
god.
noted that she had taken Seroquel the night before. Um, so they kept asking her this and that, not really drilling her, just questioning her. And after blood alcohol to see if she was intoxicated, anything like that, finally she said, I don't want to get another charge. And then she admitted that she had a sack of weed between her panties and her pants. So they took her to jail. She was deemed under the influence of cannabis, unsafe to operate a vehicle. While she was there, a baggie was produced from
Where she said it
betwixt
was.
exactly. Uh, it was 20 grams, or it was less than 20 grams, but it was a misdemeanor charge. Um, so it doesn't say. Oh, here we go. She was charged with driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, and was released on a $1,000 bond.
Oh.
So
Well, there you
yeah,
go. Well,
very
like
unfortunate.
so this right here is another fucking prime example of what we always say every single time one of these unlucky idiots gets busted. When you're
If you're
doing
gonna
something
do
illegal,
something,
do one illegal thing.
do
Never
one
do.
illegal thing at a time.
Don't
If you're
speed.
transporting weed, don't smoke weed at the same
Yeah.
time,
Don't
or don't be
swerve.
high as fuck.
Don't be high as fuck. And if you're stoned, like if you are sitting there and you're like, man, I'm high as fuck, don't drive. Just don't.
Don't fucking do it.
Don't do it. It's dumb. Just don't.
No
But
reason
anyway,
for it.
like yeah, that's what this woman did was dumb because she now granted this is a case of bad luck in the fact that she was unlucky to not have a functioning brain to be able to make the right decision to not do what she did. Like having
yeah.
weed, that's fine. Speeding, that's not necessarily fine, especially the speeds she was going. She was going 98
wasn't
fucking miles
speeding.
per hour.
She wasn't speeding. This woman was going very fucking slow.
Well, no, that's after they activated their emergency lights. When she, I got the page here. It's an ISP trooper clocked the vehicle driving at 98 miles per hour at 3:15 p.m. He activated emergency lights and told her to pull over. She got off the interstate and traveled for a little while, and then she did the
We
whole
have two
swervy
different
swerve.
stories.
Do we?
Yeah.
Weird. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I have an interesting story here about someone speeding and fucking having marijuana, and it's from Florida as well. We'll share that a different time because I have another story that's fairly fucking interesting.
Yeah, no, this lady was going at a very slow, very very dazed pace, very slow and sluggish, and her car veered into a bike lane,
Oh,
which
jeez.
isn't on expressways.
Yeah, here, no, that's well. Yeah, I hope not. I mean, I very much hope not. I've never
Exactly.
seen a bike lane on an express lane, but that would be
Well,
that'd
yeah,
be an
that'd be
interesting
kind of
situation.
bad.
Hmm.
So,
I don't
yeah.
think that'd be okay. Yeah, but
So-
no, the story that I have here, this other one, I think we'll share that next week. I may save this one because it's literally fairly the exact opposite of the story Curtis just shared.
Well, might as well
but,
might as well tell that one and then save the other one for next week.
yeah, big truth, big truth. But anyway, so what I'll do is this one is almost the exact opposite of yours. It's a woman who was speeding at 145 kilometers an hour, which is in the
90 miles.
in the freedom units, 90 miles per hour. Basically, she was speeding, going 145. She got police attention. So, basically what happened was she was driving about, super fast. So they noticed that she was going at 98 miles per hour, and so he clicked on his emergency lights and siren, tried to stop the vehicle, and they didn't stop. They kept driving. So there you go. You got speeding, and now you have fleeing from a police officer. So we've got those things already, right?
Already being
so
stupid.
already being stupid. So essentially, they stopped very, very sharply the car that was speeding and threw a bag out the window, and then they sped off again at about 100 miles per hour. They left the interstate, drove on some country roads for a little while before getting on to the I-64 West. And now here's the thing. Basically, the pursuit ended because they crossed the state line into Illinois. So the cops couldn't keep chasing. But the Illinois troopers...
What state was this in?
Florida, I believe.
Florida doesn't connect to Illinois.
This fucking story? What the fuck is going on here with this page? You know what? Ignore this page. I don't know what's going on with it. I'm gonna cover the original fucking story that I was gonna cover. Because that page is just... This weed... Okay, just first and foremost, this weed clearly is not good for focus. Like, I'll just say that now. Like, without a full review, definitely not good for focus. But, you know what is good for focus? Fire. and this story, Curtis, is about fire. And do you know the name of the town that the fire was in?
Okay, what?
I know I'm confusing everybody because this weed is making me feel fucking confused. So I'm just going with it because I want to have as real of a natural reaction to this cannabis as I can because I don't know what it is. But this town had a fire, Curtis.
Okay.
Right? Had a fire. And the town's name is Cumfellenfatch. It took me 5 takes to get that name right. But
okay.
Yeah, this place called the Pioneer Hotel in Cumfellenfatch. It's a small village in southeast Wales. When there was a fire in the basement of this hotel, cops went there, firefighters went there, and they found more than just fire. They found 2,000 cannabis plants. Yeah.
Really?
Somebody was growing a hydroponic grow-op in the basement of an abandoned pub. And, this is amazing to me. I was just like, first and foremost, like who would have thought there would be an abandoned pub in the UK somewhere? And also, like, growing weed in an abandoned pub, that's, like, kind of clever. I mean, if you think about it. I mean, if like it's got space, it's got the electrical outlets and shit that you'd need. It's probably have all the plumbing. I mean, Curtis, you know a lot about plumbing, because like working with hose and stuff like that, and that's not an innuendo. But basically, like, yeah, like so they went to investigate this fire and they found, fucking a grow op with 2,000 plants, and apparently, it's not the first time it happened. There's another place called Clydach, or Clydach, I don't know, maybe butchering the name, but they found more than 100 cannabis plants growing inside of another vacant pub. So apparently more than one criminal's got this idea. It must be getting around. Do you think they have like a criminal version of Twitter, aside from like the actual Twitter?
I'm not 100%
like
sure
where they go on there and they're kind of like, yo guys, you should set your grow up and like grow your grow up in a vacant pub because nobody will go check there. Hashtag grow up vacant pub. Like,
hello,
tweet.
Are you Vietnamese? You go to Australia.
Yeah.
Set up in New Welsh.
Yeah,
it
so
is okay.
New South Wales.
We have many other grow ops there available. You can go work weed grow op.
Yeah. Hashtag Australia, hashtag tourism, hashtag weed.
Hashtag Vietnam business boom.
Yeah, like seriously, like and that's what I mean. Apparently, so this is not a one-time thing. Police also, I love this one, Nottinghamshire.
Ooh.
Yeah, Nottinghamshire, UK, discovered
It's
a
not
grow
a
op.
Hampshire.
Yeah, not a Hampshire. It's a Nottinghamshire. I love things with ham in the name. Like, it's just like ham sandwich.
Anyway,
Anyway, I digress. They found another grow op in the abandoned Crown and Wolfpack pub, seizing more than 200 plants in that operation. So they keep going to abandoned pubs. I don't know why don't they just periodically just pop into every single abandoned pub, be like, "Yo, grow up in here." Oh, yep. Hey guys. I'm like,
aw, you got us.
Oh,
Here
you
we
got
are
us.
in the
Aw,
abandoned pub. You walked in.
Shucks. We thought we would get away with it because we thought that you guys would think that nobody would be stupid enough to do this again, but we did it again, and you got us.
Yep, we're on to you guys now. Who would have guessed?
I know, right? And like, it's so fucking great. Like, I just think it's hilarious how like all of these kind of like criminals get this similar idea and like go for it, and it just makes you think like I would if I was in that situation, I feel like I would be that one criminal who'd be like, you know what, guys, fucking abandoned bowling alley.
Every single lane, just
Like,
cover it.
Yeah, like just straight up. Like everybody else is like, guys, we got to go to an abandoned pub. Abandoned pub. Yeah, go to an abandoned pub. Yeah, they might have some kegs left over. And I'm like,
Are you kidding? Best idea for me would be a pool hall, because they already
Yeah.
have all the light rigs set up.
And tables.
Exactly. Tables for the light one, you just have to replace the bulbs, really.
Yeah.
Add some foil up everywhere, black out the windows, which most of them already are blacked out, so that way
Yep.
you stay in there longer.
Yep. Bob's your
I mean-
uncle, man. That'd be fucking awesome. But yeah, like, and so that's what I mean, man. Like, all these criminals seem to have gotten the same idea around the same time. And I mean, this dude got, like, this one specifically, the one in Cumfelinfach, which I love saying the name of that. That's spelled CWMFELINFACH. And it's Cumfelinfach. And that one was busted because it caught on fire somehow. Which is funny because it's a hydroponic grow op, so somehow this water grow caught on fire.
Some of
but,
the lights, probably.
Yeah, and so the police officer's statement from one of the from Inspector Andrew Boucher says, "I would encourage any and all members of our local communities to contact us if they see any suspicious activity in their neighborhoods, especially around derelict buildings." So yeah, if he's like, yo, rat.
buildings.
He's like, yo, rat on your homies if you see them around a ratty building. Like, if you see somebody fuck, there goes my abandoned fucking anything idea. So, you know what? Okay, hear me out. You don't set your grow up in an abandoned pub or an abandoned bowling alley or an abandoned pool hall. You set it up in an fully operational and active Chuck E. Cheese.
No.
Just no, man. It's like fully in service and functional and operational. Just people will be so distracted by all the machines. You could literally have the plants down the middle of the aisles of the arcade machines, and people are so zoned out from the moment they walk in the door to the moment they walk out the door, they wouldn't even notice the weed plants.
The main issue with this is not anything with, hiding it or keeping it from kids or anything like that, or the smell, because
No, they
none of
wouldn't
that's an
notice.
issue in Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, you wouldn't smell it. Chuck E. Cheese has
yeah.
a very distinct smell.
Disgusting poopy diapers,
Yeah,
feet,
very
and
distinct.
pizza.
Yeah.
But the main thing that makes the entire thing not work, the roaches. You don't want the
No, man.
roaches eating your plants.
You put it up on bug safe platforms. You're fine.
There is no bug safe platform in Chuck E.
dog
Cheese's.
water.
They're everywhere.
No. You put a water table in there and fucking you just have water flushing through and a filter set up so that it just filters all the bugs out.
I think you'd be better off in a Dave & Buster's.
I don't know, man. Adults would notice. Too many adults. They'd be drinking
Put 'em-
and then they'd get distracted from being distracted and they'd be like, "Whoa, is that a weed plant?" And then you'd be fucked. Like they'd.
Do you
Be
know how
wrong.
many times I get drunk near a ficus and do the same thing?
Yeah, but that's what I mean, right? So it'd be dangerous because this one time they'd actually be right, and then we'd be busted because they'd be like, "Guys, I found some weed," and then other people would look and they'd be like, they wouldn't. Be
I don't know. The Chuck E.
"Bro, that's a
Cheese's
ficus."
near me sell alcohol, and I think the same
Yeah,
adults
you're
would
probably right.
notice.
You're probably right.
So I think we'd be better
okay.
off in a Dave & Buster's where at least everything's dark and the only thing you can see is neon lights, which
Okay,
the
hear me
neon
out.
lights would light them up anyway.
Hear me out. You know the secret tunnels under Disney, right?
Secret tunnel. Yes.
I mean, yeah, okay. So yeah, the secret tunnels under Disney. What we'll do is we'll sneak down there, We'll find like one of the hallways that's not like in use anymore, and we'll just grow there.
Well then,
Be the happiest place on earth.
interesting.
Dude, we
I have
we
a
could
feeling
even,
that in
dude,
the
we could
animal
even like
kingdom,
crossbreed.
somewhere,
We could
I have an idea that somewhere deep in the animal kingdom on one of their safari rides, somebody is already growing pot in Disney. I
You're
don't know
probably not
who,
wrong.
I don't care who, and I'm not going to go to find it out because Disney is expensive as shit now.
Yeah.
But I guarantee at least somebody is growing a pot plant in Disney somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But
that reminds me. Actually, fun fact: there was a program that I heard about through a close friend of mine, and it is legitimate. It's an actual thing. But this program, basically, what they wanted to do is they essentially believe that cannabis should be a plant that should just be everywhere. Like it should be allowed to grow
Yeah.
free like it wants to. And like they weren't so what they were doing is they were sending out, if you signed up for this program, they would send you out packets with like maybe 100, 200 seeds for cannabis in a baggie.
Yeah.
And what they wanted people to do is take those and plant them in random places. So like wherever
Right.
you go, just stick one in the ground. And like they said, if you want to, you can like germinate them and grow them a little bit and have them start off. But they also said if you want to, just jam them in the ground and hope they grow. And so like my friend had done this. I didn't sign up for it in time before the program closed, but my friend had done this. And afterwards, he was telling me stories of how people had gone to their like town's city hall, and in the gardens in front of city hall, they had stuck in a whole shit ton of fucking cannabis seeds in amongst the
Right.
fucking flowers and shit. And they grew in front of city halls and shit like that and that kind of thing, right? And so like they all got removed and then more popped up and everything else, like, and that kind of thing, right? So and like people were planting them along trails and paths and in their yard and in other like just along their walking trail as they're in the woods or whatever, right? And like
Right.
just like in the off chance that these seeds will just randomly grow and have like this cannabis growing anywhere, right? And so it's like,
Interesting.
it was like it was just a really kind of interesting idea, like an interesting concept to just kind of spread cannabis around and just let it grow.
Spread cannabis. Spread the love. Spread the high.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, Shank, how you feeling?
man, I am feeling absolutely magnificent. This weed is not a good focus weed, obviously, as judged
I
from that
know.
earlier fucking news story that I attempted to get through and totally did not manage to.
We'll
I'm
try
not
to get you the
apolog-
actual news story
Yeah.
next time.
Yeah, I'm gonna go scrub through that thing and figure out what the heck was going on. Either they compressed like 3 news stories into the same page that I was looking at, or my brain just stopped working for a minute.
Anyway,
Either way, I'm not apologizing. I'm just letting you know. We'll fix it later. Not in post on this episode, but in the future we might give you an update. But I feel good, man. Nice and light, high energy. Honestly, if I had to say, it's very happy stone, like uplifted, happy, good feeling kind of stone. And yeah, man, and this is I'm entertained, like that kind of thing. I feel like I'm very easily entertained right now. Somebody could probably jingle some keys in front of me, and I'd be like, like, yeah. So it's
Sounds
pretty great,
good.
man. I feel good. How about you, man? How's your strain treating you?
A nice, calm, relaxing high. Uh, definitely in a. I'd say I'm in a happy mood. I mean, I'm probably just happy just because in my bud, I'm doing
Yeah,
something I like
we always
doing.
have
But
we always have fun on the podcast.
so I don't really think it's the weed, but the weed is making me feel relaxed. I got a nice body high going. Head is. I think I'm a little bit more focused, if anything. Not really sleepy. Not a huge amount of dry mouth either. I have been taking sips of my Pepsi regularly, but nothing like, oh my god, I'm so fucking thirsty.
Yeah,
Also, not really a huge amount of munchy, and I think it's pretty good for pain too, because I was feeling a little bit in my knees from yesterday, but
yeah,
feeling good today. Feeling good.
that's
So,
awesome, man.
yeah, all in
Yeah.
all,
It's pretty
very
freaking
nice.
fantastic. I mean, it sounds good. I mean, honestly, and like we were saying, we don't know what these are, but if you guys have any idea or hint as to what they might be, hit us up in the comments below or wherever you see this. Send us a message on Facebook if you want to, because we love getting messages. Just
You
whatever
can
you got to
message us
do.
through Instagram. You can send us anything. You can post something onto our Reddit, like we said. Good
Yeah.
Buds sub.
And yeah, if you got an idea of what these might be, let us know, and we'll see if we can get our hands on the strain that you suggest and try them out and compare them with the strain that we have. See if it's the same or similar. But yeah, and of course, like Curtis and I said earlier in the episode, you can check out all of the pictures of these beautiful strains on our Instagram and our Reddit sub, our Facebook page. I'll every now and then have some stuff on it, but mostly that's some beautiful memes, and we let you know when our episodes are posted. But yeah, man,
And it
it's
would really be nice if you guys could reach out and let us know what you like, so we know what we can keep on making for you.
big
But
truth.
we are running somewhat short on time, but before we go, really special for the 13th episode, a new strain has
That's
entered
right.
the competition. I have today
Bonus
another mystery strain and a bonus strain for the day.
All right,
Now,
bro. What do we got?
now this strain is sorry.
It's okay.
Now, this strain is grown in northern Michigan, and this was given to me by another one of my uncles. And the thing, he just won't fucking tell me what the strain name is. Like,
He just won't tell
he
you.
just won't tell me.
He
So,
knows what it is, but he's like, I'm not telling.
exactly.
Uh,
So, I get to review it here. The nugs are this semi-dense nug with a bold, darker green, and it has these spots of purple on them that are just absolutely gorgeous.
the purple.
It has these small orange hairs that just barely stick out, but it sticks out everywhere around it. But it's an interesting, complex mix of colors, as you can see by the pictures, again, on the screen or on Instagram. The crystal coating is a very light dusting, but it is coated all the way around. The smell, again, it has a very light terpenes amount to it, very light terpene scent. Again, probably because it was shipped over a while, not really grabbed fresh. I've also had it for a little bit. But it does have a scent of citrus with a piney aftertone to it. It I don't know, it smells like a very classic strain, like something I would easily remember, but it's still unfamiliar.
It's distinct enough that you can't quite put your finger on it.
Exactly. Like, I could probably guess, but I don't want to be absolutely wrong. But the color is definitely beautiful. The scent's beautiful. And I have a little bowl right here packed. So let's get a little flavor profile for you guys as well, shall we?
Nice, nice.
So, let us out, bro. Took some boat.
So, Curtis, how's that treating you, brother?
Hmm. All right. It's interesting because this is the first time I've ever had this weed. I've been saving it specifically for this moment to try it on the podcast. Um, and even sometimes, like, we will try some strains beforehand so we have an idea of what to talk about on the podcast. Sometimes, not trying to
Yeah.
break the illusion,
Not
but
always, but it's sometimes we will do that.
but this is literally the first time I've ever smoked this weed before, and
Nice.
it starts with this very smooth, again, very filling and well-rounded flavor that hits the throat, the top of the head, the back of the mouth, the full mouth. Um, the flavor itself, ooh, uh, so more of that citrus flavor definitely comes out. Then and then that citrus does move. It's weird because it tastes almost exactly as it smells.
Yeah.
Like, it's a light citrusy taste to it that moves into this very light piney aftertone that kind of sticks with and coats the tongue and kind of holds there for a while as an aftertaste.
That's rare.
So,
That
so
it's
it's
like the
weird because
exact
it
same kind
literally
of
goes
flavor as the
from
smell.
exactly like there's almost no contrast. It's straight. The scent goes into how the flavor is, and it's literally citrus to pine, citrus to pine. It's a nice flow though. It's a really good
fantastic.
weed. So again, that's the strange weed out of northern Michigan from my
No idea
uncle.
what it is.
So, yep.
Yeah.
Again, if you can see on the screen or if you can see it on Instagram, let us know what you guys think and tell us if you can let us know what the strain is.
Yeah, and while you're there, remember to click like and subscribe and stuff, because that's definitely awesome.
Exactly.
And follow. I think on Instagram you follow. And on
For
Facebook.
sure. Yeah.
Just whatever the button is, click it. If it's a good one.
Exactly. But with all that being said, I think it is time that we end the episode. We're running a little short on time.
Yes, sir.
So let's roll one for the roads. Roll one for the roads, bro. And we will see you in the next episode.
And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and just kind of moan about this in the corner until someone comes over and asks you if you're doing okay, and you're kind of like, I don't want to talk about it, but then when they kind of pry a little bit, be like, you really need to listen to the Good Buds podcast, and then that's about it. So, later, buds.
Later.